So I thought that the drama for the week was over, right? I thought that after Angela had her little blow up that things were good. It was done. But y'all, these people were just getting started. We are still just in week 1, yet the arguing and fighting has not stopped. Now there's going to be a lot to get into today, but before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button below if you have not already. Trust me, there is a lot that happens in that house that gets missed in the TV edit. So if you're only relying on the TV edit for your Big Brother coverage, you are really missing out. Now, let's get started. So when we last left off, Angela had just got done blowing up on Matt, and so things were still pretty tense in the house. Now Matt was obviously very hurt, this whole thing kind of took him by surprise, and Angela was also still pissed, so she was going around telling everybody that Matt was her target because duh, right? So the next day rolls around and they still haven't spoken yet, but Angela has decided that enough is enough and it's now time to talk because she is now ready to apologize. So these two go off to have their one-on-one, and this conversation is just weird in general. Like, Angela does apologize and she's actually really sincere in it. She apologizes for blowing up on him and for yelling at him and all that stuff, but that is not enough for Matt. Because for Matt, the thing that made him the most upset out of this whole argument was the fact that his mom was brought up. Even though technically, Matt was the first person to bring up his mom's name.
Because my mom is going to watch you as a mom talk to me like that.
She will be so
She's going to be
that her son's a brat.
disappointed. She's going to be disappointed.
Her son is a straight-up disrespectful,
Nah, it's going to be hard to
threatening
watch. Angela's
brat.
going to be hard to watch.
So since he is so upset, Matt ends up trying to guilt trip Angela by telling her his mom's whole life story pretty much. And I mean, he is really laying it on thick here. He's talking about her struggles as an immigrant and all the tough shit that she's had to overcome in her life.
She could not pay for her education, so she paid for my education, and she paid for my seminary degree so I could help high schoolers not have the same detriment story that I had.
I mean, he goes in deep, and you can totally tell that he's saying all this to make Angela feel guilty so that she won't target him anymore. And throughout this whole time, Angela is also super apologetic, and again, it seems really, really genuine here. She's doing all this crying and stuff. So on the surface, things seem cool between the two of them, right? I mean, they talked it out, they squashed it, everything's good. That is until Matt starts saying all the wrong things. See, right now, Matt is feeling very self-righteous, right? He got his apology, and so he's feeling like he's in the right. And I think that he also maybe kind of feels like Angela owes him one now. So then Angela asks him, hey Matt, what would happen if I didn't put you on the block this week? She wants to know, is this beef really over? Like, are they actually cool now? Or is Matt gonna turn around and want to get his revenge and try to get his lick back next week? And all Matt has to do is smile. All he has to do is smile, nod, and say, yes, Angela, we are indeed cool. But no, he just has to be honest. Y'all, I shit you not. Matt straight up tells Angela that yes, he actually very well may have to put her ass on the block if he gets the chance to. And I am just cringing on the inside. I'm like, yikes, bad call, dude. Not a good move. Like, I get that y'all just had a little vulnerable moment and all that stuff, but the game is still going on. You see, he thought he had caught Angela in a moment of weakness, but it was actually him that slipped for a bit. It gets even worse though, because Angela then asks him who should she put up as a replacement nom if it's not gonna be him. And once again, Matt, who cannot stop talking, even if it's to the enemy, Matt decides to go ahead and answer T-Kor or Tucker. Like, he just straight up revealed to his biggest op exactly where his game was at. Why? And Angela may be kooky, y'all, but she's not dumb at all. She may feel a little bad for how she acted, but she is not gonna let Matt's guilt tripping ruin her game that easily. No way.
Where's my golden globe? I literally just acted my ass off with him. It will be the ultimate sweet revenge when, if Lisa shares her power with me, that we get him out.
T-Kor and Tucker do eventually end up finding out how Matt threw them under the bus. So now Matt just has two more enemies in the house, especially with Tucker. In fact, Tucker is like the main one leading the Matt hate train in the house right now. So even though Angela and Matt took time to sit down and have like an hour-long apology session with each other, none of it is really going to end up mattering in the end. Because when the feeds came back on after the veto ceremony, we all saw that Matt was indeed on that block. And for whatever reason, this was somehow a blindside to him, and he was legitimately confused as to how he got up there. So even though Matt is now up on the block and he has made quite a few enemies in the past week, it's still not 100% set in stone that he's the one going home. There is still the AI Arena comp that they have to play out on Thursday, so things are really going to be up in the air until then. But if Matt does lose that comp, I'm not going to lie, it is not looking too good for his game. Matt's biggest saving grace may be that he's up on the block against Kenny, because Kenny is damn near done with this whole experiment already, okay? Kenny's just been doing all this whining about missing his kids and missing his family, and we're only in the first week. I mean, even married mom Brooklyn isn't crying as much as he is. So, and this is my favorite part of the day. So Angela walks up to Kenny, right? And she's trying to be very encouraging to him. She's telling him about how he needs to fight for himself in the AI arena so that he can beat Matt and save his own game and all this good stuff, right? But Kenny, number one, Kenny doesn't like Angela. And number two, like I said, he's missing his family, so he's feeling a little bit sensitive right now. So pretty much any advice that Angela has, even though it's totally logical, Kenny is not ready to hear it, okay? He just wants to do the exact opposite.
I know how I feel. Like, I know how I feel.
You're telling me you have no desire to fight in the arena for your life in this game because you don't want to go and beat him? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I have loyalty to him.
Like, Kenny is legitimately arguing about how he doesn't want to beat Matt because they're friends.
My mind just went...
Yeah. Well, mine went a couple of times, too, by some of your decisions, so...
Some of my decisions.
So we're both in the same, yeah.
But the absolute most cringe part to me was when he called Matt his number one, because Kenny is probably like number 4 or 5 in Matt's eyes. That's just sad, dude. I mean, I get that you're very anti-Angela right now, but at least fight for yourself. Come on now. Honestly, if I were in the game, I might actually want to keep Kenny since he has like no fight in him anymore. But that's just me. In other news, let's also talk about some of the other alliances that are forming around the house. This part gets kind of tricky because there's a lot of groups that either are fake or just not completely solidified yet, but these are some key ones to look out for so far. So the biggest and most solid alliance that I would say we have in the house right now is called the Pentagon. It consists of Chelsie, Cedric, Cam, Quinn, and Brooklyn. Now, there are some larger alliances that are going on in the game right now, but nothing as solid as these 5. I'd say they're all in very good spots right now, and I can't see them being in any danger anytime soon, at least. But the main core of this group is Chelsie, Cam, and Cedric. These 3 seem to be locked in very tight with each other, and they're also in other larger alliances too for extra protection. Really, I'd go as far as to say that these 3 are in the best spots in the house, full stop. And once again, special shout out to Chelsie and Cedric here because they came in this game with a disadvantage, with a real social deficit, but they were still able to rise above anyhow. Another tight, solid trio to look out for consists of Matt, MJ, aka Makensy, and Leah. Now, Leah is pretty much the third wheel here, and this trio is not nearly as strong as the other one because Matt is putting targets on all of their backs just by association. Speaking of which, Matt has also kind of randomly started this new alliance called the Barbershop.
We ride with each other no matter what.
I fucking love you.
Barbershop on 3.
Quiet BS.
BS on 3. 1, 2, 3. BS.
And even though this is one of the few majority alliances to actually lock in, I would say it's still pretty fake to most of the people in it. In fact, Matt, Leah, and Makensy are probably the only ones that are like super duper gung-ho about this little alliance. Everybody else just kind of immediately blew it off as soon as it was formed. They've been calling this alliance by its initials BS for abbreviation, but turns out this is probably just the most aptly named alliance in Big Brother history. So that's about all I have for now. Again, there are still some smaller groups that are formed in the house that I haven't talked about yet, but if some of those groups ever do rise to prominence, of course, I will let you all know. Of course, I'll be back here to update y'all if something else new happens around the house, but until then, peace.